number 3 would be yours.
Okay. My topic, I'm just going to reset the clock else we're going to go real long on this one, is Christmas morning memories.
Oh, man.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be about games, but I brought it up because those are my Christmas morning memories. I want to see what you guys are going to go for first before I
have 2 very vivid memories of Christmas, and both game related. There was other ones that aren't game related, but I'm going to go down the game related route. I remember the one year, it was its first year on the PS1, and I got FIFA 96. No, Road to the World Cup 98.
Oh,
David Beckham on the front. And I remember getting that game on Christmas Day, and then just like literally playing it all day.
The only thing
the family came around, but I stood upstairs playing it.
The only thing I remember about that game is that you could really put spin on free kicks.
Yeah.
They would do this.
Blockhead. And it was so good. And my other memory is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, I think it was.
Oh, yeah, Christmas game for you.
It was Christmas game for me, but I also, the reason why I remember it most is I also got the Sum 41 Fat Lip album, All Killer No Filler.
Oh, girl.
And I remember playing that over the soundtrack, and now I can't listen to that album without just immediately thinking of Tony Hawk. the shopping mall level.
Yeah.
Just like one straight run to that level. Just remember hearing Sum 41.
Yeah.
That is one of my most.
That's a good memory to have. Yeah, that's a good memory.
My Christmas memories, they're quite easy to revisit because we were quite fortunate. My dad always used to videotape. He used to have an old VHS recorder.
That's
he used to videotape the Christmases. So we have a few over the span of a few years. And one of my favourite ones was the year that the PlayStation came out, the PS1. And up until this point, so we had Super Nintendos, normal Nintendos, Nintendo 64s.
Less than average Nintendos.
Yeah, and we were ecstatic for this PlayStation when this PlayStation was coming out. We didn't have one, it was out, it was coming up to Christmas, and I remember opening the box. They brought out the present last in this box, this huge box, and we opened it, and all I remember, it's on film, I'll find it at some point, I'll convert the DVD, and I see my jaw drops, and in unison, me and my 2 brothers scream, PlayStation! And I pick it up and go, and I'm there jumping up and down, and then I just drop it and let it go. You see this PlayStation just fall, and everyone kicks off. You just think, PlayStation! It's like drop it, like, oops, pick it back up, carry on cheering.
If nobody knew what Anthony just said there, he mentioned the word PlayStation.
Yeah. Subtitles.
We'll get some subtitles for you.
PlayStation. But no,
did the PlayStation survive?
Yeah, it still worked. I
They
think
are very robust.
I spent the rest of the day, I think, was playing Pandemonium. If you remember,
Oh
that was the first game we ever had. We had Pandemonium. It wasn't Soul Blade.
Soul Blade, great game.
Soul Blade before it was Soul Calibur.
Do you know? I remember Pandemonium because I had the chicken pox when I rented that game. So that's my not Christmas memory, chicken pox memory.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. There, like,
which is a topic for a few months from there.
Chicken pox memories. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Christmas memories. Mine aren't really to do with computer games because we were always like really sort of like close to family at Christmas, and we never really like. If I wanted to go and play on a computer game, it was sort of seen as
antisocial.
You're like so antisocial, Samuel.
Well, you do what you want now, and it's a beautiful.
Basically,
I do what I want.
I do what I want, except for normally it's all the cooking. But yeah, mine kind of go around to sort of afterwards, where like Christmas for me was always about making things. I'd always ask for a present where I had to make or construct something, and it was normally either Lego, Meccano, Airfix, or Games Workshop miniatures.
Yeah. And just sit there and make them all that.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. And it was just like either gluing together stuff, painting stuff, or constructing stuff. And then that was kind of like the morning and day of Christmas. And on the evening, we'd all gather around the table and we'd play like silly card games, sort of like Chase the Ace and something for 2p's.
Yeah.
And I remember my uncle also made, before he died, he made like a roulette table. He made chips out of like little wooden tokens, and he made like loads of different coloured chips, and there was literally 10 to 15 of the family all gather around a big table, and we'd all like have a little go on roulette for like pennies. And that's my probably fondest memory of Christmas. I'll never forget it. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I got deep. Might have to have a lie down.
So deep.
Yeah, so deep.
It's deep burn.
It's so deep.
Lauren, what you got for me?
I think mine was probably when me and my brother had our first computer. I think I was about 7 or 8, and they were like, your present's downstairs, and we were like, what is it?
Please be a puppy.
We ran downstairs to the study, and there was this like, obviously then it was the best you could get.
The bee's
like,
knees.
Compact, like PC, and it was like the screen was so big, like deep.
Yeah.
And the games we got on it were like Theme Park, but the original Theme Park that I've got.
Yeah.
Syndicate, Ant Farm, or Simant.
Simant, yeah.
And there was also Sim Farm as well, so the ones before The Sims came out.
Okay.
And they were so good, those games. That's all I played. Oh, and Doom.
Did you
Obviously not advisable for an 8-year-old.
Did anybody play SimCity?
Yeah, there was.
No, I never played SimCity.
I don't know if I was a sadist as a child, but I used to play this game. I used to spend ages building this elaborate city just to destroy it. At
Turn on destructive mode.
Yeah, destructive mode.
Tornado, aliens.
Yeah. And you literally go click, 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 and then just watch chaos unfold. And you're like, ha ha! You look laughing like an evil genius.
I don't know
You're
how,
Bane, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know how they made or why they made Simant, because you literally just had this ant colony, and you'd go around like you would either be the worker or whatever, and you'd build all these colonies, and it's just, how the hell is that a game?
Yeah, but it's not the same as saying, why is there a goat simulator? Or why
Yeah.
is there why big bread?
I got that today. Don't hate on Goat Simulator.
we played that. It was fantastic. We played
But there is a market for
I
it,
know.
trust me.
The thing is, though,
Well, my mum and dad bought it, so there must have been.
the scariest thing is someone sat down, like developers sat
Designed
down and
that.
thought, oh god, what can we make a game about? Ants.
But I can kind of forgive that then.
Bingo.
You
I fucking love
I can
ants.
forgive that though, because that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, but now it's silly.
Like, now it's kind of like, now it's just silly.
Yeah, I've not actually played Goat Simulator, but I mean I've heard good things. But I don't know if it's good things because it's down with the kids and it's hip and hop to.
No, it's good things because
not.
it's.
One of the sales points of the games is this game is filled with hundreds of bugs. We're leaving them in. It's hilarious.
Okay.
Oh
So
my God.
it's a game. It's built for just sheer stupidity.
Yeah.
Like
So
the
it's
things you
a
can
game for
do.
them being lazy.
It's an indie game.
I unlocked a dragon
Yeah.
roar that blows things up. So I'm a goat running around like with a jetpack on, just blowing cars up because I roar like a dragon. And
So
I'm
it's
like,
like a cross between that and Just Cause.
It's actually Just
It's
Cause,
quite fun.
Tony Hawk, but you're a goat.
So that sounds good just because you're a goat.
Also,
It's
Goat's
carnage.
remix, by the way. Goat's a
You
dead
can
remix.
actually do manuals on it. That's where the Tony Hawk comes in.
Really?
You can like scrape on your bum or like do a handstand.
Speaking of like absolute like pointless games, though, did anybody play Echo the Dolphin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a plot? I remember playing a demo, and for like 15 minutes I'm going sideways, and I'm like,
When does it end?
I'm just swimming.
I just thought that was when I played that. Then we got the PlayStation. I remember demo 1, and it had the one where you could pretend to be a dinosaur, or the one where you could pretend to be a manta ray underwater. And it was just one screen, and that you're just the dinosaur or the manta ray, and that's it. And I thought it was something similar to that. There's no game. You just get to be it.
Just get to be a dolphin.
So
Yeah, I was going to come back.
That game though, it always felt like to me as if they just copied one bit of the game and then pasted it next to each other. So you just had to carry on.
Yes.
throughout the
It
whole
never
thing.
ended.
It was never ending. It was like the last level of Mario, the first Mario on the NES, and yet I don't know if anybody gets to the last level.
I've never had a NES.
Basically,
No.
you got 3 options. You got like a high level, mid level, and a lower level, and they've all got different obstacles. And you just choose one. And if you choose the right one, awesome, you get to the next stage. I didn't know this as a kid. Bear in mind, I was probably 5, 6 at this point, so I didn't really understand. I was like, I just need to get to the end. Every single time I played this, I just couldn't complete it. It's like a never-ending level, and I didn't realise that that there was a right way and a wrong way to go. And you had to pick the right and wrong way each time. And every time I just run out of time. And I never, to this day, I've still never completed Super Mario Bros. 1.
Because
of
it was
that.
one
Pretty-
son of a bitch.
Yeah, that seems pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, looking back now, I could do it so easily. Like,
Games on the NES, like playing them as a kid. Did anybody play the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game?
no, I didn't.
I think I've played that at Lynn's house. I've got a really weird memory of that. Yeah, I think so.
When Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out, I did it on veteran difficulty. I did the aeroplane mission at the end. It took me a few hours.
Yeah, I remember
It
that.
was painstaking. It was difficult. It was nothing compared to the first TMNT game on the NES. Because even me and my brothers, we played on co-op. You'd get to like the second level. You're like, well, that's it because we're not getting any further. I don't know if it's because we were just absolute pants because we were children.
No,
but
no.
those games were hard.
The tagline on that game should have been just, it's hard as balls.
Yeah. No, not
You ain't
Michelle.
finishing.
Yeah.
It's like game that comes out now is like Soul.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Obviously the hardest game possible is harder than that game.
I haven't played.
I've not played Dark
I played Dark Souls. I picked it up and the control scheme was stupid, so I stopped playing it.
I'll give you my, because Bloodborne's a game that followed that, and I'll give you my Bloodborne experience. It throws you into a boss that you can't beat, or one person on the internet has, and they just kind of roll around for like 3 hours just taking a stab at it. It's like a giant wolf thing that wants to drink all your blood because you've got different blood or something like that. Kicks you out into the gardens with no explanation, and then there's all these little things that kind of give you the weapons that you need, and then it sends you back into the house, lost again. But now I've got everything I need to win that fight. Surely that should be a winner. No. We demand a certain level for you to be able to play this game. Sorry if you wasted £40.
To be fair, I quite like hard games because I've recently played through the latest StarCraft and I've whizzed through. I mean, I am pretty good at StarCraft anyway, but even on like the hardest difficulty, like.
But if it was something you weren't good at,
I've just maybe.
I get too angry.
I've just breezed through the whole thing.
When I used to play consoles, I used to throw the controllers.
I failed one mission because I was eating at the same time, I think, and one of the heroes died.
One of the one thing I do with games, there's a lot of games where just for the experience, the first time I play it, I'll do it on the hardest difficulty, which are 1, 2, and 3. The first time I played all 3 of them, I did it on the hardest difficulty, which was painstaking for number 2 until you get good at it. As soon as you start getting the hang of it, we've mentioned it before, it's like Monster Hunter. As soon as you get good at it and you learn to parry, you learn to dodge, and you adapt the combat system, it's an absolute breeze. Number 3, the first, I think, levels, maybe 1 to 7, was so difficult, and I've just absolutely breezed the rest of the game now, because as soon as you get good at it on the hardest difficulty, it's just an absolute cakewalk.
Yeah.
But there is, I do tend to find that games now aren't as difficult as they were on like the PS1.
No, of course not.
Like I wouldn't dream of playing the original Doom on like hard. Never mind the hardest difficulty.
No, you don't do. You can't kill anything.
I play it on normal and I'm not getting anywhere.
It's because they focus more on making it look pretty.
Yeah.
That as well, and they have to cater for everyone.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a really big fan of World of Warcraft. I mean, really big fan that I played it so much from the very start, vanilla, beta, and everything like that. And nowadays, I just can't play it because it's just so easy. I can go on, I can log on, and I used to be able to have to. I know it's a long, painstaking game to grind and everything
You
like
really
that.
have to think.
You don't really have to think. But you used to have to. You
Yeah,
used to have to like log on.
Don't
But now you just log on and it's kind of like, okay, well I'll click a button and it'll find me an entire raid party to go, and I can go and right click on a boss for 10 minutes and then I can get some nice loot.
Do you not miss going onto like NeoGAF or websites like that where you can just be like, I'm looking for people to play with?
Yeah,
and then you actually make
exactly.
friends in that little group.
Yeah, like probably that's some of my fondest memories of like of gaming is probably in Warcraft when you're defeating a boss with 40 other people that you know.
It's like now when me and you play Rocket League. One of the things that I enjoy doing, I know you do as well, is when they've been giving you a bit of banter and like when they score a goal, they have to type at 1-0 like this, and you're like, oh, it's okay, it's happening.
So that is it.
But it's just when the game's over, just before, because once that game's over, they're gone. You're never going to see these people again unless what happens magically and you get matched with them again, and it just comes full circle.
It's called sniping.
Yeah, you're never going to see these people ever again. And so we just try and get that last dig in. Just that
Last one.
This is like us on Dota.
It is like this on Dota. If we have a good game, it's like I'll say a pre-game.
A little snipe at the end. And
I'll type GG before it's even finished. I know we're going to win. And then all of a sudden, then all of a sudden they come back and they just wipe the floor with you. And you're like, you shouldn't have said GG.
My best experience with that is when Xbox. I first got Xbox Live on the 360, so I'm playing games like I was playing Gears of War 1. And it was late at night, and this was a time where the party chat didn't exist. So you're speaking to people on your team, on the other team.
Paul doesn't remember the time of that party chat. He's just shaking his head.
It was so good. I think it's kind of gone down then because a lot of people will just play with their friends, so you don't meet as many characters. And I'm playing Gears of War online, and some random guy joins the chat, and my gamer tag was Rubber Biscuit, which always started a lot of conversations because it was like, why is your gamer tag Rubber Biscuit?
It's about to start another conversation when you finish.
This is another podcast, but
we'll talk about our usernames as well.
This one guy joined, and he's with his mate. He must have been drinking, and he just started singing, and he just went, "Hey, Rubber Biscuit, love your gamer tag, da 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 da, Rubber Biscuit." Da, da. He kept doing it. And then his mate joined in, and then the other person on the team joined in. So I'm playing this game of Gears of War, and all I can hear is the rubber biscuit. They even started doing it where one would do the and then the other ones would go rubber biscuit, and then we suddenly got into the game lobby. The opposing team started, and I had to go for some reason. I left, came back a few minutes later, joined another game. Then one of them joined halfway through the game doing rubber biscuit for about 2 to 3 hours. Somehow, it just kept spreading. It just kept going on. And people would join, see me in the game, and they just start singing rubber biscuit.
It's when you go on the internet and you type in 4chan and it's come up as this is what we're doing today.
Yeah.
Find this
guy.
Yeah.
Sing to him.
Actually, you say that about like party chat and stuff like that and it not being around. I remember the day that I got the 360 home, like I bought the first ever next gen console, there was a grid demo on it and it was online and you could speak to people. I've never done that before, got it out, you put the headset on, there's people talking, the headset comes back off and I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
There's real people on the other end.
It's quite an awkward experience.
And I feel like they pre-discussed something because I put the headset on and it's grid and I'm like, I'm good at racing games, I'm going to win. And everyone but me reversed. It just went on. It was like, we're all going to crash on this first corner anyway, let's just get it out of the way. Do a crash, whoever gets out wins. That was my first online headset experience. Christmas experience, because I've got to come all the way back. I've got two that I want to talk about because they're relevant, because they're to do with games. The one of them I remember because it's one of these, like, when you life lessons, because I feel like in me I did something horrible and I didn't say to anyone, like I didn't talk about it, it was just something that I thought, and one of them's just about Final Fantasy, so I don't know about that. But it was the Pokemon Christmas, and it was the one where I went downstairs, it was kind of getting light but no one's up, and I'm thinking I can sneak downstairs. I know the stairs that creak and the ones that don't, so you know where to walk. Nowadays they all creak because I'm 15 stone. But back then there was a few that didn't. And I was thinking, God, I hope I got a Game Boy, and I took it out and there's a green Game Boy colour, like a lime green.
Nice. Smooth.
And I reach in and I can see a Game Boy game and I pick it out and it's Pokemon Blue, and I thought, I want Pokemon Red.
You know what we should have done? We should have known each other back then. We should have done some trades because I had red and I wanted blue.
Well, this is the end of the story, you see, because I was like, no one's up. I'm not going to look through the rest of the presents because the sack's up here, and I was down here probably, but it looked like it was up there. So I was like, fine, I'll play this one. I can't believe I got the wrong one. This is bullshit. And seriously, I was angry. Not externally angry.
Ungrateful child.
No one. And so I went to bed and I'm not playing it, and I hear other people getting up, and I come downstairs and I'm like, I'll go through my presents, and next to it was Pokemon Red, and they've got me both of them. And then the heart just sank into my stomach. I was like,
no one had
both. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that was the thing.
No one had both.
They've got me the wrong one. And then I saw that one, I was like, I am a dickhead.
You're sitting there like I was wasting an hour playing blue.
Yeah, but
I
thought, like, it's strange because I thought that as like a 10-year-old or 11-year-old, and that stayed with me, that horrible feeling of probably like kind of a nice person now. That one moment steered my life.
No.
To be fair, like, your parents probably just went to a shop and thought, fuck, there's two.
Yeah, which one do we get?
Let's
Get
like,
both.
what's the difference? There isn't really a massive
Well, they probably
difference.
asked the shop assistant and they said, and they'll just go, we'll get both, just in case.
It's Pokemon!
There's not really a massive difference, but there's extra, you can catch different ones.
There's changes that he probably knows.
Yeah. So like, we'll just go, we can only get both. What if we get the wrong one? He's going to feel like we're really ungrateful.
The pressure that parents go through when they kids games.
It's okay, we love you.
So I had both. I don't remember having them both at the same
You
day.
had both as well?
But I definitely had the one, and then not long after had the other one, and then not long after that had yellow.
I didn't have yellow.
I didn't have yellow either.
Yellow.
Yellow's one where you start with Pikachu, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're bringing all three of them back.
Follows you,
They come into the 3DS actually soon.
They're bringing all three of them back to the
Not
3DS.
updates like the original,
Great.
but just with wireless.
I play it on my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't trade for your phone. My other memory is not a huge memory, but it was the Final Fantasy one. But having had Final Fantasy 7 and being aware that there was another one coming at that point, that was my first opportunity to be excited about a Final Fantasy game.
Okay.
Because I played 7 having zero knowledge of it and falling in
And that's
love
why you
with
fell in
during.
love with it, yeah.
And then, was 1997? I think Final Fantasy 8 came out.
Yeah.
That later that year, like they used to
Yeah,
come out at 98 or something like that. So waking up and seeing that, and again being in a position, just ignoring everything else, going back up to my room, putting the disc in, and doing this for the entire of Christmas, going down for dinner, and then just zombieing back up the stairs and playing Final Fantasy 8 again.
It
Yeah.
was worth it.
Another Christmas moment, actually. You mentioned Pokemon. My cousins who are basically my second parents. They bought me some. I used to collect Pokemon cards, and they bought me like 5 packs, and they were quite expensive. So like they bought me 5 packs. I thought, shit, I got 5 packs of Pokemon cards here. I can open them. And within the 5 packs, Shiny Charizard.
Was it there?
Oh,
Still got it.
Yeah.
First edition Shiny Charizard. And what was the other one that was really rare? There was another one that was really rare. But I had both of them. Both two
Five
two
packs?
Yeah, in the 5 packs. I was like,
I got 12 Diglets in 5 packs.
in my swapsies pile, Diglett.
Diglets on my house.
Dictrio.
I've still got my Pokemon cards from
Really?
growing up because
I do as
well.
all my
I've
siblings had them.
I never had Pokemon. I never
think mine
had
actually
Pokemon
got thrown
cards.
away.
I've actually got
I had
some.
Pogs.
I had Pogs as well. I've
That's
got
it. I
some
never did Pokemon.
Pokemon Neo cards upstairs actually.
I bought a few newer sets, but never played them. Like I bought them with the intention of learning the game because no one ever did that. But
Yeah.
Yeah, no one known the real rules.
Did you used to have that?
I
Like,
think
Pokemon got banned at our school because like people were
Yeah.
picking them in the playground, and people used to
Yeah,
play
got
them,
banned.
and they'd be like, "I'll play you with Pokemon."
I used to
all
sell
right
them.
then. What you got? I got Charizard. What you got? I got an Arc and a KOE. And you're like, "It's not how you play the game."
one of my friends had a Zapdos, which is a ridiculous card, and then one of them had like a Haunter, and it was like, well, no, because I can use Hypnosis, then Dream Eater, and now you're dead. And it's like, oh, Zapdos lost.
Exactly that. Energy cards. What are these for? It's like,
Yeah,
I've still got the original Pokemon folder, and
Yeah.
the first 3 sets. There was the original Fossil and Rocky.
I remember Fossil.
And I've got the complete 3 sets, every single card.
And
Wow.
every one of them had a memory card.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
I've got them. They're in my parents' loft, I believe. The first edition, and they're in like I think they're in a photo album, a blue photo album. I have to get them down. I wonder
Yeah,
if they-
I've
do
got
they
mine.
sell for much these days?
Mine, your Charizard probably would.
First edition.
It
single card.
depends. There's like the Charizard. I think there's like 5 variations of it.
Yeah.
Do you want a current price?
Dependent upon which one you get, it can be like up to 125 quid, I think.
For just the one card.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Cray.
And we've got 2.
Yeah.
I say we've got 2. Shane's got 2, but what's his is mine.
Charizard Pokemon card. Original. Price. Any other Christmas memories that aren't necessarily like first thing in the morning memories or anything that comes to mind?
Coming back to things being downstairs, I only ever had that one Christmas, and that was when I had
Is that real?
a set of
See
like the proper like old
1,000
goalposts, and
Yeah.
like not quite five-a-side sort of things, but they were bigger. And that was the only every present I had downstairs to open because we used to be upstairs with a sack by the end of your bed.
Yeah.
And then the one year my mum went, "You got a present downstairs?" Just like, what?
Is it a puppy?
Like, what's downstairs? What couldn't have been at the end of my bed? And it was this set of goals, and that was probably my non-gaming most vivid memory.
My non-gaming one. I've just had this weird mental image of it like, in front of me. Having the Power Ranger toys one year, and like the bigger ones, like the full-size people ones,
Yeah.
not the Zords.
Not the one that flipped the heads.
No, they were the small. I had them. I had the red one of that as well. I
Yeah.
think, but having some kind of intricate set because they could open their hands. So I'd found this string and just tied it everywhere and was using it as zip lines.
Yeah, gotta do
But
that.
they were everywhere. And I mean, like you went to the top of my stairs where the landing comes up, and you'd walk into like a spider web of this.
Sorry, Mum, zip lining.
I remember when I used to skateboard, and the one Christmas we finished opening our presents, and then my mum and dad come walking into the living room, and they're like trailing this like huge like black container, and they bought me a skateboard ramp and a rail. And I'd only been skateboarding for a few months at this point, so I was still in my like no fear jeans, my baggy hoodie and beanie. And my dad was filming, and we went outside the front of the house. I think one of my brothers, he had like a remote control car or something, so we set the rail and ramp up. And I just remember the one-liners my dad's coming out with on this footage, because he's just like, Anne, aren't you supposed to slide on that? Because at this point I can't even on, so I'm kind of riding up towards this ramp, and then stepping off, and then I'm kind of riding towards this rail and kicking the board at it, and I'm like trying, it's just not working at all. And it was just absolutely
The
awful.
thought was there.
Yeah.
Another one I've got is, well, I don't really have this memory because I don't really remember it very well. But it's always something my parents seem to tell everybody.
Yeah.
Like, everybody must know this story that knows my parents. Is that one Christmas, I was pretty young, I think I was like 4, maybe 5. And they'd taken, I was asleep in bed early because Santa was coming, so I was pretty excited.
Yes. Yeah.
And they'd come up and they'd put all my presents at the end of the bed in like a big sack, as you do. And I got up in the night. I was like, "He's been fucking who's been?" I remember them telling me the night before.
This son of a bitch came early.
He's already been. I've been asleep 10 minutes. He's been. I did not see him. But I remember that my parents telling me like a couple of days before, like, don't touch the presents under the tree. Like, don't touch them. You're not allowed to touch them. You're not allowed to open them until Christmas. I was like, shit, okay. So it's like, this is like early morning. We're talking like 4 a.m. in the morning.
It's
I was
heavy for a 4-year-old.
And it was really heavy. I was crawling over the bed, peering through it, like, oh, presents. And I was standing there, lying there for at least an hour, looking at them going, oh, presents. And then I remember my parents coming in, and they'd obviously had a discussion about why hasn't he not woken up yet?
Yeah.
Why has he not come in saying, oh, he's been.
Yeah.
Ah. And I remember them coming in and saying, oh, look, he's been. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I'm not allowed to touch them. So I was sitting there for an hour and a half thinking, I can't touch these presents.
Can't touch them, I'll die.
And all they wanted me to do was run in and say, oh, I've got your presents.
Presents are lava.
Did you guys ever do that when you like woke up early and got presents? Just run into your parents
Yeah.
and go, look at this. Now look at this. It's 4 in the morning. It's a keyboard. Listen to this.
Yeah.
Drum kit!
Watching back the films, and it's like my siblings are absolutely hilarious because I was just as guilty. You'd open a present and you'd be like, "Look, Mum," and she's like, "I know, I fucking bought it, yeah." Look what I have, all of us.
Mum, suspend your disbelief.
He brought me these.
You had no part in this.
Yeah.
Yes.
One more line if you got one.
You ever remember Crash Dummies?
Yeah.
And if they had another name.
Like the circular
Yeah.
symbol with
yeah.
the black and
Like
yellow.
no, it was white and.
Was it white?
Oh no, it was black and yellow. It was
Yeah,
black
yeah.
and yellow.
Crash
I'm
Test
thinking
Dummies.
of Umbrella out of Resident Evil. I'm thinking of the white and red. Me and my brother had like 2 cars. Like for our Christmas present, it's like the best Christmas present ever. And we had like 2 dummies in each one, and we were just like launching them down the stairs, one after the other. And one of us would run down, bring it back up, and then the other one would launch it, run down, bring it up. We did that like all Christmas Day. That was like so good.
Your parents fucking loved you.
Yeah, because we kept on throwing them into like the walls, and my mum was thinking about, oh my god, the wallpaper, or
Yeah.
you're gonna chip the walls, and
The
my dad was
paintwork.
going mental, and we were just like,
Well, it's cool. Okay, I'm sharing a seat.
You're sharing
Sharing a seat.
Dog on a
This
seat.
is my chair now.
Hey, friend. I got one to leave us on.
Cool, man.
And this is an impressive feat from my parents. We used to spend a lot of time in Cornwall at Christmas because grandparents lived there.
Yeah.
That's true. And somehow in the car on the way down, they snuck a guitar.
What?
And Ibanez. Okay. And Ibanez Geo with a mini amp, everything.
Okay. Snuck it in the car.
Because we got there on Christmas Eve. And I remember thinking, there's a lot more stuff in this car than there normally is. And
Magicians.
in retrospect, I know what was in the boot now. But because we were going on holiday, I just assumed, man, we are taking a lot of clothes. Christmas Eve, I did not suspect a thing. And then, like, waking up in the morning and thinking, I got some like presents at the end of the bed and stuff. I'm like, there's a bit of fruit that my mum always put in there, an orange, and you.
oh, it's orange in the bottom of the stocking.
And then kind of being like, Christmas on what, I'm 13 now, it's less every year.
Yeah.
And then walking into the living room where the conservatory was, and then mum going, "Have you been in the conservatory yet?" I'm like, "No." There's like a full-size guitar just lying on the floor. I'm like, "What?"
Mind blown.
The hell
Skull.
did that happen? Did the conservatory just grow this?
How did he breed this?